what I would like you to do is to introduce yourself. And I also see some remarkable information behind you. I would like you to explain a little bit about what we're seeing there. So individuals who are on the video side will be able to understand. For those that are on the audio side, definitely hop over to the YouTube so you can also see some of the presentation that we're going to share today. So share a little bit more about your background and how you came to the blockchain space.
Okay. It goes way beyond a decade. And Before starting off my quick introduction and a short profile on my side, I would first want to congratulate you. The recent, the conference which you had on Blockchain Legal Institute platform, it has been highly insightful and it was very informative. And all through the session, I had been able to get a lot of information from the BLI community and the people and the speakers who were part of that particular conference. So the webinar was very helpful for me, had opened my eyes on the other side of the platform as well. So good job and well done to the entire team. Now coming to the actual question, a bit about myself. It's Radhakrishnan. For the ease of the conversation throughout, let me call or introduce myself as RK, R and K. I had been on the information communication technology platform for the last 2 decades, 2+ decades, I would say. But later, most of the emerging pieces, most of the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, like blockchain, like a few other platforms which were enabling the digital transformation to move to the next advanced level was my interest. So as part of it, had been doing a lot of researches on artificial intelligence, how it got originated. Had been reading about a lot of blockchain related aspects, and I was also seeing how it can benefit the domains which I have been part of for the last 2+ decades. Some of the domains which I have been part of is healthcare, telecom, banking, financial services, life science, pharmaceutical, and also a lot of other emerging technology platform. Just to give you a background on how it all started as a research first. I was doing a lot of research on the blockchain technologies, blockchain platform, like many other technologies. Even I had my doubts before I could start doing an assessment or an evaluation on any of the blockchain needs. So the research started off with a lot of questions. Some of them were getting answered, some of them were not. So it led to another advanced level of research. And then slowly it moved on to moving that research into an actual ideation and then slowly moving the ideation to the production platform itself. So this is how my interest on blockchain and artificial intelligence started. And it has been pretty much an interesting journey for the last 5 to 10 years, I would say. Doing a lot of research on various domains, doing a lot of presentations and also implementations on blockchain on various platforms. Some of the recent space or the domain which I'm really happy about is using blockchain in space analytics, blockchain in the legal tech services platform, and blockchain in telecom platform as well. There is a lot of scope which I foresee for the next 5 to 10 years in the legal services platform itself. And I feel blockchain is going to be the key driver. I don't want to say one of the key driver. I wanted to stress and emphasize that it will be the key driver because the digital world is more getting into a questionable mode. When I say questionable mode, everybody is looking at what is the ethic of implementing this platform of artificial intelligence. What is the basic compliance we are going to achieve, which we are not going to achieve in the current legacy platform through the blockchain platform. So some of these aspects are definitely going to be a lot more triggering for the ICT community down the line in the future, and blockchain is the answer to them. So that's how I would start. I'm happy to go ahead with the rest of the questions throughout the session. In fact, I think I should have something like a hall of wall behind my behind my video. But just to give you a background about this, this was one of the World CIO Summit we had last year. Slowly, the entire ICT community was breaking away from the COVID relaxations, and they were, recommending, and they were also recognizing the people who have been performing post-COVID platform in cybersecurity, in artificial intelligence, and in blockchain as well. So one of the summit was World CIO Summit. Although, as I said, I should keep a hollow wall so that I can put all the the recent awards which were received in the last 2 years. The reason why I wanted to say that is it's quite interesting, because the fact is, post COVID, there were a lot of questions on whether the cybersecurity is really going to dance according to the tunes of the users community. Is cybersecurity really safe? And there were a lot of questions on the digital transformation failures which has happened. Although they say the cloud transformation has started across the world, it is slowly catching up, and there are also failure case studies which are being presented in multiple forums. So this World CIO Summit was one of the I would say forum, which was recognizing the leaders under various category. My category came under the legend one, where they were looking at what were the contributions in the past for the last 2 to 3 years, and how is that you have proved yourself as a global leader in strategizing the digital transformation or making the cloud transformation to happen, or also being part of various innovation group. What were your contributions for the last 2 to 3 years? So collecting all of that, there had been a lot of assessments, internal committee approval, etc. Post about 2 years, the summit happened in 2023 in Qatar, and I was awarded this World CIO Summit Legend category. Sharing my screen on what I'm going to talk about and what is the quick snapshot. I would also want to touch upon various aspects of the legal services while we go through our questions and conversation, uh, because I feel some of the core areas of legal services, which are related to the intellectual property rights, the litigation aspects, the investigation aspects, the legal contracts, the legal research itself, and various investigations and risk analysis platform, which are being provided by various technology providers. These are all dying of valid data in the system. When I say dying of valid data in the system, there are various data, there are multiple data sources, there are also various connecting dots. But what has happened is, over the data collection through any technology platform which the company would have been implementing it, there had been a clear absence of meaningful data. That was one of the aspect which were really not making the legal tech services platform to come up in the market, because meaningful data will move us towards a clear-cut decision-making process. Meaningful data will give a shape and structure to the data, a complete definition of the overall situation. I'm sure you would have seen, the one of the very famous picture. One of the picture will say, who wants meaningful data? The picture will show everybody raising their hands. And
Mhm.
another picture will be there, just to compare. The question will be on the other side, who would like to make the data more meaningful? there will be no hands which would be lifted. Um, everybody wanted a great platform. Everybody wanted a great analytics, provided to the customer or for themselves. But nobody wanted to contribute as part of it. You ask them to do a data mining work. You ask them to do a data cleansing work. Work. You ask them to do a data segmentation work. Uh, as I said, I'm sure we can bring up that picture somewhere in the conversation, and I will refer to that. That's exactly where it was lagging behind. So I felt blockchain having been defined with a smart contract. And when we release a blockchain platform to the legal services and with the other services which I mentioned, like intellectual property, litigation, investigations, risk analysis, etc., blockchain can be a clear-cut key driver, and it can move it to the next advanced level on the legal tech services which are to be provided. Because currently, that's something which I'm going to explain in the next few minutes. Currently, that is the need of most of the legal tech services platform across the world. Everybody have somewhere some data, but it is not really making them to a meaningful situation to arrive at some conclusion or a decision. So let me just share my screen so that you can have a look of what is the current situation looking like and how is the future going to be with the legal analytics platform itself.
There we go.
Okay, perfect then. Yeah. So this is my whole context for the next few minutes, Jackie. As you can see, we are getting into a legal analytics web. I call law as legal analytics web for for the discussion sake today. We are getting into a lot of, predictive aspects in the legal practice itself. Um, uh, as you can see from the legal professionals are very seriously advancing towards a post-professional society. When I say post-professional society, they have been discussing in the courtrooms, they have been discussing in courts, they have been discussing the cases with the customers, which is more on their professional front, which is more on to their day in, day out front. But there are other aspects, other supporting services, which are going to be the key driver going forward in this digital world. And that's exactly what I mean by legal professionals are advancing into post-professional society. See, this is definitely a need of the hour, where there is a lot of data with the legal professionals team, and but as a practice, it has been more manual. It has been more collaborative with the end users. When I say end users, more with either the court side or with the customer side. So they are definitely looking into various aspects to advance their professional and working aspects to a post-professional society aspect. That's exactly why I said legal professionals are advancing more into a post-professional society, and the predictive technology is there for their help and assistance, wherein the legal analytics is really, really going to be the front runner for the legal service or the legal practice, which is going to be offered. Well, there we are. So this is how I would want to carry out the conversation for the next few minutes. I think this slide itself, is going to speak a lot. Why do you see a current and a future state in this slide? Is the current state is almost the legacy part of it, where there is law, there is code, there is customer, there is lawyer, all of them, doing some manual aspects more on an interactive basis. And the data are all in books, papers, and any references are purely going to be manual. The assistants are going to help. The junior lawyers are going to help. But how does the future looks like is what you would see in the iceberg, which is below. This is still unleashed or unearthed, I would say. It is still evolving. It is still emerging. But the future is definitely towards these pillars, some of these pillars which I have listed down. If we can see the future, the very first pillar itself is starting off with technology assisted review. This is exactly where I'm saying the legal services is going to have a lot of technology assisted or supportive platforms, which is going to make the legal services better, best, and more advanced and more digital. So with the technology assistant, what is that the legal teams are going to have or foresee or going to experience? First one is most importantly the cost savings part of it. See, there are a lot of movements, there are a lot of expenses, there are a lot of case discussions between the lawyer and the customer. All of this is incurring a lot of expenses towards the whole legal practice sessions which are held between the lawyer and the customer and the court, the lawyer and the court, etc., etc. So there is clear-cut cost savings which is clearly seen because we are going to build up the data, and the data is going to reside to support the lawyers, and even for that matter, the courts are also going to be a part of this entire use case. Apart from this, you could see other pillars like settlement negotiations, case patterns management, case prioritization, the legal research aspects of it, the litigation risk management, and most importantly, I was talking about the predictive analysis, right? That's exactly what you would see more from legal research, early case assessment, and precision case management standpoint. Why do I say precision case management standpoint is, there are various data, there are various, decisions taken at various phases of their cases. But where is that we know exactly during this round of discussion, this is exactly what has been the decision. And this is the supporting evidences. These are the legal parameters supporting that particular case management aspect. That's exactly what this precision case management module is going to, come out with. You can also see an early case assessment. The reason why I'm having early case assessment is, see, there are a lot of juniors who are working on the legal practice with the senior lawyer who is going to handle the customer's cases. But as a platform, except the books, files, and probably various printouts or evidences, there are no platform where the junior lawyers can go look into the connected pieces of the data, look into the assessment which has happened, say, about a year back or so. These are some of the aspects which are going to build up the case. And an early case assessment on, say, litigation or any other civil or criminal cases, it is going to really provide a platform where the case is completely assessed well before, which will end up either in timely delivery of the decisions, or which will end up in some kind of quick conclusions, rather than taking years, because there is always a complaint today, right? If you go to a lawyer, it takes It takes years and years and years, and the case gets completed probably during my son's or my daughter's period. That's exactly what a typical, the complainant claims are always. But seeking the help of the legacy data, which is already available, I'm hoping that the future is going to reside on the predictive analytics, which would most probably be providing a best-in-class legal technology with the so-called pillars to start with what I have listed in this slide. So I feel the future is going to encompass all of these parameters and pillars. Needless to say, there's going to be continuous improvements, and this might evolve into a much larger digital legal platform down the line in the future.
So I love how you have it with the top and the bottom, the current and the future, because the technology development and application really, in some ways, it's not so much future as now, because a lot of what is going on in terms of the development of the technology is actually, I think you probably need like a third area, because it's catching up with where it is. So from that perspective, but everything that you're saying is right on, and that's exactly why also the Blockchain Legal Institute was created, just to provide resources, because the traditional or legacy side needs to integrate the new technology, the innovative technology. So
Absolutely.
show us the next slide, because I know that there's so much evolving here.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Should I start?
Yeah, please do.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So, Jacqueline, as I was discussing about the whole of the iceberg in the previous slide, before we see the actual services itself in another slide, which is going to come in few minutes, I would first want the users to understand, how the customer and lawyers are connected, understanding the legal connecting points between the customer and the lawyer and the judge and the court, etc. So, as a customer, these are some of the typical use cases which I have just initially shortlisted. The customer is either experiencing a claim case, he's a party associated with a civil issue, or there is a case which is basically criminal in nature. And there are also various client facts, evidences, and supporting parameters which are protecting the customer case. And there is also, representatives from the customer side who are going to support the case. And customer has been also part of various rulings in the past. And if you see from a lawyer perspective, the same ruling applies, and lawyer is always discussing about a subject, which could be either civil, criminal in nature, and he will be collecting the evidences. He will also be collecting the contractual parameters where customer is binded with the lawyer itself. And typical use cases of lawyers, background check, background verifications, and then the arguments documentation, which is what I was talking about, precise case management and early case assessment in the previous slide. And most importantly, the solution offered by the lawyer or the conclusion given by the lawyer, while the legal discussions with the courts are happening. So this is exactly how various use cases between customer, judge, court, and a lawyer looks like. If you really look into this entire slide, right, look how much of data. I have just listed a few, use cases here, few connecting dots, And very limited legal connects have been explained in this slide. But to be honest, there are much more to this. As you know, you are from the legal background as well. You would have experienced various aspects on the legal case or the connect itself between the customer, judge, and the lawyer. So imagine the kind of data which has been currently stored and which has been completely manual, in the last, I would say, 50 plus years. And imagine in future down the line, say, the trust between the judge and the customer, the trust and transparency between the judge and the lawyer, the transparency between the lawyer and customer is going to massively increase by a technology platform supported by smart contracts and blockchain. Imagine how much of data is going to be built, how much of data is going to be available, and how much of prediction on the cases can be provided in a platform. How much of an early case assessment or a remote assessment can happen instead of customer, always visiting the court premises. So, just taking few of the use cases like this. Imagine the data which is connected between the customer and lawyer. Now, let's go to the futuristic aspects where, I was discussing about early case assessment, precision case management. Uh, all of this in a legal tech platform in future, say down the line in next 5 years, if it is going to be provided, imagine the digitalization impact which the customer, lawyer, court, judge are going to experience. See, when I say digitalization, there is always this question which is coming up. Is it going to take over the job of the lawyers? Is it going to take the job of the attorneys? That's not something which I meant. I'm always a strong opinion maker of new technologies are going to give or pave way for new jobs, creative jobs. And imagine just in taking the slide into consideration, imagine there is going to be a profession called legal engineers. Which are coming out. I know engineer is a totally different domain and legal is a totally different domain, but imagine a future where there are going to be legal engineers who are going to support the platform, who could be a junior lawyer, who could be a senior lawyer, who could be a senior advocate, who could be a senior judge who is out of the practice, who can be an advisor on some of the key cases, be it civil or criminal. And imagine there are also cases, where state to state interaction has been very limited. A particular state or a county lawyer cannot represent himself beyond a high court bench or a Supreme Court bench. Imagine those aspects are going to be completely digital. And imagine there are also going to be a lot of global connect between the lawyers, either on a research platform or a knowledge-based platform. Imagine the kind of data which we are going to see down the line in another, say, 5 years, while it is completely digitalized and while it is built on a completely trustable platform, on a secured platform, on a very transparent platform, which is going to help both the customers community, lawyers, and the court community as well. This is exactly why I want to present this slide, wherein first we have to understand the legal connects. What are the prospective use cases which we are seeing currently, and how can a predictive analytics platform be of a highly supportive nature in these kind of use cases, and also for the future? This is definitely going to be making a complete bookmark, and predictive analytics is what I would call as the future for most of the legal tech services platform, say in another 5 years. So I'm hoping that I have given a little bit of insights on the data use cases surrounding the customer, lawyer, and the code background. But still happy to, explain you more on the next set of slides
Well,
with
what
questions.
I love about the slide is of how you're breaking it down for someone who is both in the legal field as well as those that are not in the legal field. For those that are in the legal field, whether you're new to the practice of law or whether you've been in the practice for a while, it is important to understand the application of why blockchain, AI, and the innovative technologies are going to impact you, not in a negative way, but in your field of practice. And from the perspective of when we go to law school, we're learning various content areas. And then when we get out of law school, we learn the practice of law and how are we applying it and supporting customers. And that goes in the clients. And that goes back over to the other part of your diagram. You have the individuals who are representative, maybe not in a lawsuit, but possibly in a consulting perspective, because you want to consult with your clients to prevent lawsuits from happening, to have them be proactive on the compliance side. And when you are in the blockchain space, because things are evolving so fast, you really do need the tools, both technology tools as well as individuals who you can consult with. And then you have, as you're showing in the various circles, you might have to file a lawsuit. So you might end up being a party either as a plaintiff or defendant, and you might have a claim one way or the other, because you might also file a counterclaim. And then you have your rulings, and you might appeal the rulings. So again, there's so many different layers, both from the application of how do you serve your client and the customer to how do you, as a lawyer, make sure that you have the background knowledge in the topic and field for what you are going to be helping them with, because that's the other area. As lawyers, we are initially generalists, and then we become maybe specialists, but maybe not. And so we have to know, okay, how do we, if we're in the general practice of law, where do we go for that specific area of knowledge? Because especially in the blockchain field, whether it's AI or DAOs or blockchain use cases or the various cryptocurrencies or NFT, there's so many nuances and it's changing so fast. So you've given a beautiful overview of what the general areas are that our community needs to think about. So what's next? And I know you have a few other slides.
Okay. Are you able to see the?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Jackie, as you were requesting, yes, this is exactly what I was planning to show as my next slide,
Mhm.
where uh, there are always, when we talk about technology to the legal team or to the lawyers or to the courts who have never been on the laptops or who have never been on their mobiles. So these are some of the quick questions which always come to their mind. What really artificial intelligence is all about? Is AI really going to be used in the legal industry? Because that's a question which is coming out not just from the legal industry, but from many other domains like healthcare, life science. Yes, we are talking about artificial intelligence. Is it going to be really, really, helping the domain? Is the question which comes from the end users. It could be from healthcare or telecom or life science or pharmaceutical or banking domain also for that matter. There are also questions. Can AI really streamline the legal research and document analysis? If so, how? Because there is always this difficulty where me as a technologist find it very difficult to go and convince the customers who had never been on a laptop or a desktop or even for that matter any digital platform. But keeping all of the the recent social media advancements, keeping all of the recent social media connected platforms, I feel selling this would be definitely a piece of cake going forward, if not today. But I'm 100% sure we can prove the benefits, the advantages, and also most importantly the savings part of it, whether it could be on the cost, whether it could be on their time, whether it could be on their efforts, efforts in documentation. These are some of the core benefits which I believe, while taking the artificial intelligence and the blockchain platform to the end users of the legal industry, they are definitely going to get convinced. Although you could see the slide, few questions on legal mind, but I'm feeling more that these are the answers to their questions rather than questions itself from the legal team's mind. I'm sure the artificial intelligence platform will be able to predict case outcomes in future, if not today, and they can definitely assist in the legal decision making process. And lawyers can ensure accuracy and reliability through various legal platform tools driven by artificial intelligence or blockchain. And ethics and the legal implications of any of the cases can be clearly documented and maintained. And most importantly, as we are on a global platform where everybody knows everybody's case, and there is also this, request for information is being floated to the legal domain also. Privacy and security can also be targeted and it can be measured, because that is one of the concern from the legal team side. So these are some of the quick advantages or quick wins, I would call, for the legal team. And that's exactly what you would see from the slide displayed here.
Yeah, no, I think that, one of the questions that you asked are what are the privacy and security concerns associated with AI in the legal industry? I think we're seeing more of a discussion about that right now, and also the predictive use outcomes. So definitely artificial intelligence can be a proponent for areas that we want to address, but they can also be areas that we need to think about as protections for the clients and for the community.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. That's very right, Jackie.
So what are your next steps with what you're doing? Because I know that as a technology advisor, you are doing many things.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the question, Jackie. Yes, what do I see from 2023 is what I would like to answer. Have been thinking about a lot of aspects on how artificial intelligence and blockchain can help, in the legal services domain itself. And that's exactly what you could see as a quick snapshot in this slide, wherein artificial intelligence will be driven or will be driving the legal and the law technology's future state. This is exactly what I would call, which would be embedded into the future in an artificial intelligence platform. It could be a services enabled feature or the module which would be embedded into the AI platform. It could be applications, it could be analytics driven, it could be research driven. And for all of those services, we would need, supporting documents or evidences like contract reviews, the trial damages documentation, the trial rulings, and the proceedings. And all of this is going to be driven by the data management module, which we are going to see in the legal technology platform. This would also have contract analytics, which would be part of the legal analytics module, which will have the outcomes, the research analytics part of it, the trial analytics part of it. And you could also see some of the interesting bars, lawyer bots, digital course. These are some of the aspects which purely out of innovation mindset, I have put it and drafted in the slide. Imagine there is going to be something like a lawyer bot which would be helping a particular lawyer or an advocate who is on the drive, trying to recollect his previous proceedings, previous decisions. the connecting points. Imagine that there is a helper, like how we see bots in the travel sites, booking sites, hotel booking sites we see today, even in banking sites for that matter. So I have just gone a step ahead, and I have thought about lawyer bots as well. I'm not sure at this point on March 2024 how is this really possible, but still I feel somewhere down the line, once the analytics part of it, once the dashboard and the reporting aspects, once the analytics, the data management part of the legal tech domain itself is built, I'm sure lawyer bots are going to be the next step. And those are going to be the assistive bots for the lawyers or advocates who are going to appear for a particular case and who are going to get assistance on a digital mode itself. That's the reason, I have even put lawyer bots for that matter. I'm sure it would be imaginary to call right now, but I still feel, this is going to be somewhere in the future in a very, very closer phase, probably in next 3 to 4 years, once the analytics part of the legal tech platform moves to an advanced level. You could also see something called as digital codes, where I have drafted a design, where the digital codes can function and they can clear the backlogs based on the data, which is either going to be migrated from the manual side to the digital platform, or it is newly created in the digital platform itself. That is why you would be seeing the digital codes as one of the blocks appearing it here. So altogether, this is the whole check of legal tech platform, which I am seeing that it will be driven by artificial intelligence as a future state. Of course, needless to say, these are some of the platforms or the modules which are going to be built with the legacy data which is available either in a manual format or in a printed format. And the services are to be enabled, based on the phase which the cases are getting operated by the lawyers. It's not at one quick shot, all of these are going to be implemented because some of them, as I said, is an imaginary, block which I have tried to put, but I don't see that it will be a permanent imaginary block. It is going to be a realistic imaginary block. Why I'm saying realistic imaginary block is when a real-time implementation happens, that's exactly where the imagination can move to a permanent solution. So that's the reason I said realistic imaginary boards. So I feel that once the analytics part of it comes into picture, once the basic artificial intelligence platform is built, there's going to be tremendous need for the lawyer boards and the digital clothes block itself. So this is my quick snapshot of where artificial intelligence is from the legal tech in 2024 and beyond 2024.
No, I think you covered almost everything there, from the idea of both the legal side, the court side. I'm just looking at the various categories, digital courts, lawsuits, contract analytics, the regulatory side. I mean, again, these are all the various areas that AI can touch. And then the question is, where and how much do you want it to touch? And how much human checkpoints are needed to be in place as a result of the AI being used, just to double check and verify. Because anytime that you have information, you still have to have verification that what the technology is doing is correct. So it's, but I'm just looking at the all the categories, and again, for someone who might not be familiar with the touch points that lawyers and the legal system are involved in, it's very all encompassing. And that also is eye opener for those that need to create legislation or maybe should not create legislation, because there are a lot of areas in here that maybe should not be touched with regulatory, implications. Sometimes you want to have the federal and state courts to make their own decisions. And, so there's different areas here that the e-disclosures I'm looking at, that might need to have some regulation as to what is the content of the e-disclosure. And is it the challenge that we have in our decentralized community is anonymity. And yet, and that's part of
Agree.
the benefit of our community is we can keep our identities private and also our identities. However, because of that, then how do we track and trace and help someone who might be a victim of something within our community? So again, it's there's a lot of it's thought provoking. I guess that's the best word to use for it. Yeah, I can definitely see it. I love how you've evolved pictures.
I mean, all through the conversation, we have been very serious on data management, legal analytics, etc. But I'm sure we should not have the universe driven by robots. I'm sure on that. But it should be a part of our human life, is what I'm trying to convey, through this slide. Imagine if we start calling robotic lawyers, e-lawyers, digital courts. I'm sure it's not going to be really taken very easily from the legal community itself. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say here? Is what is going to be the question? That's the reason, there is a disclaimer which you would see. AI could easily be powerful enough to replace both lawyers and judges in the coming few decades. Uh, Maybe not as it exists today, because I wanted to be clear on my disclaimer part of it. Imagine, the evolution of humans has been through a very much of an advanced level, which is what you would see. But imagine it goes to the robotic level. It's going to be a lot of robots everywhere. Uh, you know, uh, Maybe that's exactly what we are heading towards. Whether you like it or not, I feel that digitalization is really taking us to the next level. And See, we have been seeing industrial era, industrial revolution. We have been seeing Y2K. We have been seeing modernization platforms which had come in the last 10 years, and now is the digital transformation era due to cloud services which are getting offered due to artificial intelligence and blockchain. But somewhere you're always advancing your current legacy digital platform to the next advanced phase. That's exactly what has been happening. Just as an example, right? Automation itself. Everybody feels, oh, well, you know what? To automation tools like whatever you have in the market, it is going to really take off my job. I'm going to lose my job. Thousands of jobs are going to be lost because of robots, etc., etc. There are so many such disturbing conversations which are always floated. But I strongly feel, and I strongly, wanted to let people know who are hearing and also viewing this through video mode, that this is going to create a lot of very innovative jobs, creative jobs. Example was the legal engineer profile, which I was just mentioning during the conversation. So there's nothing like, we are going to be at the fag end of, the manual work which are going to be conducted. even an artificial intelligence platform or a blockchain platform, which are to be interpreted from the requirements, then integrated, then implemented, it needs manual, efforts from so many humans here. So I definitely wanted to let the people know that artificial intelligence is really not going to take away the jobs. And most importantly, contextualizing to the legal community here who are going to hear and view the video, it's going to have much more advanced, platform given to the legal community, which is going to advance the legal team to the post-professional society, which I was displaying in the first slide. And that's exactly what I expect from emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain. So all these robotic lawyers, e-lawyers, digital lawyers are all good to hear, but we are not heading there, but we are heading towards artificial intelligence framework or a tool or a platform which is going to assist digitally the lawyers and the legal community in the future is what I would conclude.
The other thing that I would like to add to that, and I do love the visual, is the ethics of how we practice law. And, considering the evolution of the legal field and also the technology that has existed, it's important to overlay the that ethical consideration, because technology is only as good as the people who use it and for the purpose of what it's used for. And so, I think that that is something also that as the developers or as the end users, we always as lawyers need to be thinking about how do we support our clients and also how do we support this technology and our legal community with the development and application. So if individuals would like to reach out to you, how would you suggest that they reach out to you? What's the best way?
Oh, okay. Well, to consideration. That's exactly how a knowledge base is built. So happy to discuss with anyone who is willing to connect on the legal tech services and offerings which are provided. Happy to be part of any of the advisory areas which they are looking at.
That sounds great. And everyone who's been